After 2 years of waiting, FNaF Movie 2 is finally out. I watched it on Thursday, and now I'm here to give my thoughts on it. Hello everyone, this is DJ Aiden, and today I want to review the FNaF Movie 2. I mean, obviously, what do you guys think I'm reviewing? No, seriously, what do you guys think I'm reviewing? Alright, all jokes aside, yes, I'm here to review the second FNaF movie. And before I go into the whole spoiler stuff, I do want to give a quick spoiler-free review for anyone who hasn't watched the movie yet. So to give a quick spoiler-free review, I enjoyed it, I really did enjoy it. I had a good time, I laughed, I was shocked by one thing. I had two major problems with the film, pacing and horror. I will go into detail about that with the spoiler version, but the animatronics were outstanding as usual. Seriously, the animatronic action is just awesome, and Vanessa, from the first film, she's very good in this film. I'd argue that she's the star of the show in this, at least when it comes to human protagonist. That's about all I have to say when it comes to a spoiler-free review. So if you haven't watched the film yet, then I'd highly recommend that you watch it to, understand what the hell I'm going to be talking about when I go into the spoilers. Or don't, that's entirely up to you. But if you're here to listen to me yap with the spoilers, then come right in, because we're about to talk about it right now. Actually, wait, no, I want to do some self-promotion. If you are watching this and you like horror FNaF and you're interested in the FNaF movies, then you should totally watch my FNaF short film, The Fazbear Archives, alright? It'll be in the description of my video, or you can just check it out on my YouTube channel. I'd really appreciate it if you give it some support. That's all I have to say, and now we're actually going to get into the spoilers. Alright, so let's get into the positive comments I have to say about this film. For one, the opening was honestly perfect, so much better than the opening for the first FNaF movie. Charlotte being there trying to protect the little boy from getting killed by Afton. The reveal that Charlotte has been stabbed multiple times is honestly really good. It's just so tragic, it's intense. The Candies and Popgo's reference was insane, and the Freddy Friends arcade is interesting because I'm pretty sure it's showing a little bit of FNaF World, the 8-bit overworld sprite. I could be wrong though, but this opening rocked. It started off strong. I got chills when I saw Afton's hand on little control board making his announcement, because I was expecting to see the Universal logo and all that stuff, but no, straight into the action. Literally the only nitpick I can think of is the fact that the adults were just kind of a dick for no reason. I feel at least one parent would take some concern with Charlotte being panicked, but it's no big deal. It's FNaF. This type of stuff happens in their universe, so I can kind of glance over it. The set and the animatronic designs was just truly outstanding. They just keep on getting stronger and stronger each film. The first one was already great with its set design and animatronic design, but oh my god, the second movie just walks in, says, "Move over, FNaF Movie 1. Watch what I can do." A whole river? Oh my god, this is something I dream about. This is awesome. Jim Henson, everyone in the team cooked with this. I'm so serious when I say that. I think that's the one thing that everyone has to agree, even if they dislike the movies. The set design and the animatronic designs are always going to be amazing. You just can't deny it. Now, this is a little bit random, but while Mike and Abby are in the destroyed FNaF 1 pizzeria, there's a plushie that Mike finds. It's clearly a bootleg version of Freddy, and Mike presses it, and it did the most stupidest thing that I could have just never imagined. It literally does that, that audio where the dude goes, "Horror, horror, 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 horror." When I heard that, I laughed hysterically. I can't lie. I think that's the best joke they did in that movie. Like, that got me laughing just because of how unexpected it was, and just, it was just good. I can't lie, it was good. But now that we're on the topic of comedy, the comedy was really good, which is weird to say because this is a horror movie, but the comedy was, like, strangely good. Like, is Scott secretly, like, a comedic writer? Like, is he trying to disguise FNaF as a as a horror film, even though he desperately wants to make a comedy movie? Is this what we're doing, Scott? You know what? I wouldn't complain. You know what? Give me, like, a comedy movie of Michael Afton and Springtrap just, like, living in an apartment. Just do that, Scott. I also really want to talk about how great that paranormal investigation scene was. Like, I just loved the vibes it gave. Just, you know, someone recording, trying to investigate, be like, oh, we're gonna hit big with this one. And then you just have Michael, who's just, like, the most, like, he's just the most, like, Dave thing to come out of FNaF. Obviously not counting Dave. And, like, it's so obvious that Scott wanted to do something similar to the Silver Eyes with, like, Dave. And I'm all in for that, because Michael was great in that scene. Just, like, his jump scare was so stupid, but I loved it. I can't lie. It just fits well for him. Just smiling way too much. Like, he's way too happy about this. Like, he's way too excited to be releasing Charlie and all that stuff. Like, literally, when he exits, he goes, like, welcome back, Charlie. And I'm like, oh my god, this man is so unserious. I love him. And just the animatronics just tearing the people apart one by one was awesome. It was just a blast just seeing all of this. But I think my favorite part was when, like, Lisa went to explore the music box and the music got louder and louder and louder. It was like building up an intense feeling, like, oh, what's gonna happen? And when she stops it, the music box opens and the puppet gets to, well, it's called the marionette, but the marionette gets to Lisa, and Michael, or was it Michael? Yeah, no, I think it's Michael walking down there, and he sees that the marionette possessed Lisa. While I'm pretty sure I heard bones cracking while the possession was, like, happening. I could be wrong though. And, like, oh, she looked so freaky with that puppet possession stuff, and she was, like, crawling around. It reminded me of, like, Shattered Monty, but even more terrifying. And, oh, that was good. I just loved that scene as a whole. You know, speaking of Michael and the marionette, I want to give a shout out to those two characters. Michael, I kind of talked about it for a little bit, but Michael was just such a fun addition to this film. And despite the short amount of time of him being there, he's so fun, I can't lie. I know people don't like the fact that there's two mics, and just, like, it may feel very different from game Michael Afton or whatever, but I can't lie to you guys. This is just too fun for me to ignore. I just adore him too much. I'm sorry. I know why I love him so much. It's because he reminds me of Syndrome from The Incredibles. Like you can see the comparison, right? Like, he's, like, controlling the animatronics in the ends, going like, what do you think, Vanessa? Oh, you're gonna continue Afton's legacy, just acting all smug, just gets his shit rocked immediately afterward. Like, Jeremiah, I also want to say Jeremiah was freaking awesome too. I love him. But Marionette's the real star. Like, no offense to Mike, but you're on fraud watch, Mike. The Marionette is coming in with all arms. Well, sure hope the Marionette has arms. Oh, but yes, the Marionette is so good. It's like, oh, just peak. I'm not gonna lie, Marionette's appearance was peak. Every single moment of the Marionette was peak. I can't, okay, except for one moment, but that's literally it. There was only one bad moment with the puppet. But, like, oh, just, they made Marionette a good antagonist, and I know she's very different from her game counterpart with how vengeful she is, with just absolutely mad at just the world. Well, not just the world, but parents for have just wronged her. It's just so good, and the fact that she's trapped in this specific moment of anger, grief of just losing her life since, she's been stabbed. Just so good. I can't lie. Scott cooked with the marionette. And I can't lie, the marionette was like the only thing in the FNaF movie. Well, I mean, also Mangled too, but more so the marionette. Marionette was the only one to have me like legitimately like creeped out, like flat out creeped out. Like I was like, oh good lord. Then we got Vanessa. I love Vanessa so much in this film. She's just so perfect. She's just going through everything. She's in the thick of it. Like, and I already loved her a lot in the games, but she was so underutilized to the point it made me want to die. But, oh, this is just great for me. Like, I'm a huge fan of Vanessa, and just seeing her finally get something is just so satisfying, even though literally most of her scenes are just her suffering. But I'll take it, man. I'll take it. She was great. And I'm not gonna lie, she outshined Mike, like, by a large margin. I'm not gonna sugarcoat it. Then you have her, like, fighting off Mangle. That was an amazing scene. That's, like, top 3 best moments in the second FNaF film. But what I believe to be my #1 favorite FNaF 2 scene, I'm gonna have to say the Vanessa dream sequence. It was just so good. The cinematography, like it's really good. Like, just Afton is so, like, just unnerving, and Circus Baby appearing randomly. It's so bizarre, but I think her making that random cameo works, despite the fact that this is so clearly just like Scott and Blumhouse doing like Jane League. He's like, look guys, look, character from this location. Like, despite them doing that, I think it works. I think it works because it's in her dream, right? And it's just like so bizarre because the hallway's just feeling like having this feeling of getting longer, getting more weird looking, and just then you just run into this clown animatronic. Like, it doesn't look unfinished. In fact, it looks very polished, while Afton's other creation is like work in progress, and its eyes glowing. That's just perfect. It's a perfect scene. And then Afton falls down the stairs and he's just laughing hysterically. I just can't get enough of that scene, man. It was great. Probably the best scene in the second FNaF movie. Then you have the post-credits. The post-credits were honestly awesome. We all expected the Springtrap post-credit, but oh my god, my friend beside me was like joking around, going, oh my god, he's gonna say we found one, a real one, and I said, don't even joke. With Charlotte saying, I don't hate you, but you need to stay out of my way, I was like, okay, I wouldn't joke about it, because it could happen. And when I heard him say, we found one, a real one, I was like, oh my god, he was right. Oh my god, it was like insane. And then Springtrap's like left eye glowing. Ooh, that was cool. That was so cool, I can't lie. But I think the Henry one was the better one, because it was just, not gonna lie, it kind of gave me chills, because the first thing Henry says in that post-credit is leaving Dead Space. And if you don't know what that means, that's what literally Henry says in FNaF 6 as Cassette Man. Like, oh man, I didn't think Scott had the balls to make Henry really cool, but they made him cool. And it's just so cool to be like, I can track some animatronics, and I'm warning you. Like, it's like so ominous, but so good. I can't lie. It's just, I feel like this is something Scott does very well with, like, he does, like, one-sided conversations very well. That's what I'm noticing, because the Michael Afton's location monologue was amazing. Just, like, a lot of stuff that have monologues are great. I think that's what Scott works best with when it comes to writing for FNaF. Monologues. And speaking of Henry, Henry was awesome. Like, for the short amount of time we have seen him, he was awesome. And I'm not too sad that we didn't get much of him. You know, it was necessary to introduce him, but I feel like if we shoehorned him into the plot, it's just strange, you know. Build him up for the third movie. That's good. That's good. I think that was a good build-up for, Henry having a larger role in the third film. Now, I know I had a lot of positive things to say, but I also have some negative things to say. Sorry, FNaF Movie 2, as much as I enjoy you, you have a lot of flaws that I cannot ignore. Now, I think this one is the biggest problem, and I think you guys know what the problem is too. It's the pacing. The pacing is really not that good, to the point it like really hurts the film in return. Like, it could have been decent if they made the third act a little bit longer, or just give the movie as a whole 40 more minutes, because oh my god, this movie is like way too short than it should be. Like, it gets to a point where some stuff aren't like fleshed out or just not answered at all. Like, that's not good. I know FNaF, mystery, interesting stuff, but there's a difference between interesting mystery and just stuff that aren't even answered, and it's just annoying. And unfortunately, the pacing was just not it. And it's weird, because I thought the pacing was okay with the last movie, but they really dropped the ball with this one. Like, for an example of the pacing hurting the story of this movie, the Wizards, they're just gone randomly. They're just whoop-de-doo, out of there. Still trapped in the restaurant despite the animatronics being dead. Or the toy animatronics, I should specify. And what about Vanessa's trauma? We never got any resolution with that. Like what happened? She just got possessed by the puppet, and I guess she's kind of evil now because Marionette got her. And it's just like, wow, you made a whole setup of Vanessa being haunted by her trauma of her father, and now it's over with. It's gone. Hopefully maybe they do more of it in the third film, but come on, there could have been a better way of maybe wrapping it up so that way they can focus on the Marionette possessing Vanessa. Okay, so I have a genuine question for you guys who've watched the movie. Did you feel like genuinely scared? Like you jumped out of your seat with this film? 'Cause I did not. I did not get scared once. The most I felt was creeped out and intense, which is not good for a horror movie, And this transitions into my point. They oversold the horror. Like, they be having me thinking that something crazy was gonna happen. Like, I don't know, Mango was gonna bite the head of someone live in front of everyone, but no, not at all. It's just slightly creepy. I think the horror is actually a downgrade from the first film, because that Hank scene where he gets like just torn up, well, not literally torn apart, but just destroyed by Bonnie, I was scared. Like, I still get scared of that scene because the sound effects are so good and Hank sells it so well, but you don't get to see him die. It's like implied, and that's good. That fits with FNaF, but I didn't feel any of the horror with FNaF 2 at all. I just didn't. At most, I was creeped out. It's just disappointing because they were really gloating about this movie being truly spine-chilling, but really all they did was put in more jump scares and have the Marionette be quite spooky. Like, really, okay, I will say one moment that took me off guard, but I wasn't like 100% scared, was Toy Chica like crushing Abby's teacher's head. Like, that was immediately like, I was like, oh wow. But come on, if you're gonna sell this as like some absolute horror movie, then you gotta take some risks. Again, I feel like this film didn't take any risk with the horror. The most they did was the Marionette. That's the most risk they did with horror, Marionette, and that's it. Even with like the movie having more jump scares, they're not really that effective, and there's one that's just straight up bad. Alright, so to kind of explain the one that's bad, there's like a scene where like Abby's chilling in her bed, right? Toy Chica's there, and her stomach's kind of like cracking up as if something's trying to burst through, right? And when it's revealed that's the Marionette breaking through, Abby screams, and then Marionette like jumps at Abby, but it's so poorly done to the point it looks like a PNG, like, being zoomed in. And oh my god, I noticed that in theaters. I was like, oh no, that wasn't good. But that was like the only jump scare that was like, oh, that was just horrendous. But the rest are just like, that's why when I was talking about Michael Afton and when he had that jump scare moment, I called it funny and not scary, because it wasn't really scary. I feel like if they didn't do that stupid like little sting noise, like dun, I feel like that would have been maybe a tad bit more scarier, because it's just like naturally. I think that's also one of my issues with the jump scares. They don't let it happen naturally. You have to do like a bomb, like, oh my god, just let it happen naturally. Not everything needs a boom. I promise you, I'm not stupid. If we were stupid, the film would have been PG. like I'm just disappointed in the horror severely. I wouldn't have a problem if they didn't like make a lot of promises that the horror would be phenomenal. It would be so much more scary than the first. But no, I think the first movie has way better horror than the second one. Because okay, the first one does have that little jump scare stinger problem, right? But it makes up with some of the other horror moments. While this one just, it feels like those cheesy camp 80s horror, which wouldn't be an issue if that was their intention. It feels like Scott wanted both cakes. He wanted a little bit of camp and funness, but he also wanted something that was truly horrifying. But Scott realized, oh no, how can we put two cakes together? And now we're just left with this. We're just left with a movie that's pretty intense, a little spooky with some moments, but that's it. That's really it. It's not as scary as the other horror films that have released, which is a damn shame, because it's just, FNaF should be terrifying, not this. Also, not enough Michael Afton. Truly saddening. I'm actually doing the frowny face right now. Shame on you, Scott. My boy Mike deserves some love, and I don't mean just Mike Schmidt. I mean Michael Afton. Shame on you. Now, I have no clue what I'm about to say is a hot take or not, but that cliffhanger or ending or whatever you want to call it was stupid and unearned. I am sorry, it was so unearned. Listen, I was cheering on, oh my god, when the classic animatronics came to destroy the toy animatronics, but I was not cheering when Michael was easily taken out. As funny as it was, I was like, are you serious? Are you fucking serious? Part of my language, but are you kidding me? He just gets smacked by Jeremiah? That's it? He doesn't run away scot-free? Okay, I can let that slide. That's okay. Maybe the film will be a little bit longer. Okay, Mike is telling Vanessa to screw off. That's a little heartbreaking. Okay, Vanessa's sad. Oh, puppet possessed her. Oh no, this ending's gonna be nuts. Wait, what do you mean it's over? What do you mean it's over? There was no resolution. Now you may be going, oh, well, it's a part of a cliffhanger. Look at Avengers, like, Infinity War. It ended on a cliffhanger, but it did it in a satisfying way. It felt earned. Thanos winning and sitting on that porch was earned. But you can't just end the movie on a cliffhanger like that. Expect me to go, yeah! Like, are you kidding me? Like, why? Like, you did nothing. The toy animatronics are dead, laying in your house. The classic animatronics are also dead, laying in your house. And you guys are apparently going somewhere? If Vanessa is possessed, so I have no clue if she's just gonna run away from the house or she's gonna go try and kill Mike. I do not know. Why would you leave it on a cliffhanger like that? That's just so stupid. Like, I also just want to say, why would you immediately destroy the toy animatronics after Mike goes tear them limb from limb? Do a little bit of action, mate, please. Like, come on, this should be Mike's moment. This should be Mike's moment to shine. This should be the toys' moments to shine. But no, Foxy goes, dum dee dum dum dum. I'm gonna kick your ass. And I guess their asses were indeed kicked, because it was so short-lived. They could have done something so intense. Just put some stakes. Some stakes. I love stakes. But guess what? They don't do any stakes. The only stake there is that Abby Annette was a thing. But Abby's okay. And now Vanessa's possessed. So I guess, I don't know, it's probably going to be resolved with her knowing this movie. Because they cannot imagine killing anyone, or at the very least harming any of them. What's up with that? Abby was close to being spring-locked in the first film. Mike was getting his shit kicked in, and Vanessa got stabbed. Why are they so afraid of hurting their protagonist suddenly? Like, the most they do is possession. But, yet again, Abby was fine after the marionette possession, so how do I know that Vanessa isn't just gonna be like, oh, yeah, I'm okay, guys. Yeah, don't mind me. I'm just frustrated with the ending, you know. I'm gonna keep it real with y'all. This final complaint I have is going to be extremely petty. Like, at this point, this shouldn't even be, like, considered as criticism. This is just Aiden being petty, alright? So, take this as you will. But where was Shadow Freddy? Listen, to give some context, I love Shadow Freddy. He is my favorite FNaF character, and I am very passionate for him. And I know it's a bizarre character to really like. I could have liked something normal like Mimic, or Springtrap, or Toy Freddy, or something, but Shadow Freddy means a lot to me. And his appearance in the first movie was disappointing because you couldn't even see his face in the first movie. He's not a cameo, he's just a purple blob. And you may be wondering, oh, well, why do we see his face then in this stuff? But here's the thing, that's behind the scene footage. That is literally marketing promotion that just never appears in the movie. You never see Shadow Freddy's face. You only see his torso or something like that. And if you do see his face, it's only his ear or something like that. And I made sure to see if you could see his face, but as far as I'm aware, you can't even see his face, which is probably the most important part of his design, his face. Because, you know, he has, glowing white eyes, glowing white teeth. And I was so disappointed when I heard that, ooh, FNaF 2's gonna have a lot of cameos. Like, oh my gosh, they could make it right with Shadow Freddy. They could fix this. But then, like, I started losing a little bit of hope. I was like, oh, what am I saying? They're not going to do that. And I kid you not, Hasmi said, oh, they're going to do Shadow Bonnie and Circus Baby. They did Shadow Bonnie and Circus Baby. Why? Why am I cursed with being right? Why? Why? Wouldn't it have killed you to just get the FNaF 1 Shadow Freddy out there, just stuff in the background or something? Or just, at the very least, put him in Vanessa's dream sequence if you want to go like, oh, well, that's what it makes sense of the Shadow Freddy costume to be in the FNaF 2 restaurant, because, it's in the FNaF 1 restaurant. Alright then, let's put it in the dream sequence. What the hell? Like, I'm so upset that he's not in this film, because this is where he originally appeared, FNaF 2! He appeared in FNaF 2, goddamn you! Now, you may be thinking, oh, there's always the third film. Now, you're right, because it's based off of FNaF 3, and Shadow Freddy's a little important to FNaF 3. He helps William Afton in destroying the animatronics. But I'm not sure if the Follow Me sequence is even gonna happen, considering how different this universe is. And now I know there's the Shadow Freddy crumpled suit Easter egg, but I'm not even sure if they're gonna do that. I genuinely don't even think they're gonna do that. Because my faith in Scott when it comes to, like, implementing Shadow Freddy into anything has just skyrocketed, like, to the ground. Like, I don't even have any faith that he's gonna be in the third film. He's just gonna leave there, rot. The only way I think we can win this is that, since, like, the post-credit of FNaF 2 said that, like, the place was gonna be, like, demolished, right? Maybe the Fright, the Fazbear Fright people, maybe they pick up the Shadow Freddy suit and they place it there. That's the only way I can think I can win. But knowing me, that's not gonna happen, isn't it? Okay, I think I got it out of my system. Like, I'm sorry, but I needed to rant about the fact that Shadow Freddy is not in this film. That upset me greatly, considering that Shadow Freddy, yeah, it feels like he's fading into obscurity. It really does. But I feel like the only thing that's keeping this goddamn purple bear afloat is the community and the merch companies, which is saying a lot. Rant over. So, let's talk about the critics, or as the fandom has been saying, the evil critics that hate FNaF and are unfun. So, were the critics right about this movie? I would say not necessarily, but I do understand not liking the movie since it is a lot to take in as a non-FNaF fan, though the hate is definitely overblown. It is not the worst movie of 2025, but it's not the best movie either. Listen, I hate to be the whole like, stop fighting, both of you guys are bad type of person, but it really does come down to me believing that the critics had overblown the hate, which makes sense because, you know, critics usually like to over-exaggerate some stuff. And the fans just got way too defensive and, to be quite frank, made some lackluster points. Like, seriously, saying that something is made for the fans does not exempt it from criticism. Admittedly, after seeing the movie and seeing the critics' response to, well, the movie, I was very panicked and thought that this movie would destroy any interest that people had in this movie, and that Scott and Emma Tammy needed to respond to all of this quickly. But I realized something. This movie is going to be okay in terms of sales. Let me explain. It has been stated that these movies are made for the fans, right? Which is a pretty big fan base if you ask me. And just take a good look at Sonic, Minecraft, Mario, and obviously FNaF. They both share a pattern, don't you think? A pattern of fans enjoying them, but also critics not really liking them that much. Well, I mean, Sonic's kind of the exception, because critics have been liking that more with Sonic Free, so Sonic's kind of out of that picture now, but with Mario and Minecraft and FNaF, yes. Now, despite their flaws, no matter how bad those flaws may be, they have gotten enough support to the point that they either received or are getting sequels. So, where I'm getting at is that the whole critic controversy thing, all it's doing is giving these movies free publicity. Now, I know you may be like, oh, but it's negative, but think of it like this. Any publicity is good publicity. Now, this is not me justifying the FNaF movie 2 being not that great in terms of like writing and all that stuff. That's not me excusing that. I'm just saying that the critics are giving this movie a lot of publicity. Even though they hate it, it's giving people some curiosity if the movie is even that bad. Even if the general audience or the critics just like ignore the FNaF movies, it's only gonna fail if the FNaF fans let it fail. And I can tell you that the FNaF fans are not gonna let it fail. Because, well, it's FNaF. They'll take FNaF. To kind of summarize what I'm saying, I may not agree with, their points, but the critics are feeling the Fazbear fire by making a controversial review, having people interact with said review, and then people getting curious about the FNaF movie, and then the cycle starts again when the third one comes, probably. But as I said, it's only gonna fail if FNaF fans let it fail. So what's my final thoughts with this movie? Well, I think that it did improve in terms of entertainment, cinematography, and animatronic fun. It has improved, but sadly, I cannot say that the story was an improvement from FNaF 1. In fact, I think I prefer the narrative of FNaF 1 over FNaF 2 because it just felt better developed. And it's a shame because it did have the potential to be a better story, but the pacing unfortunately did some damage to it. Despite the negative things I've said, and despite it looking like I hate this film, I do not hate this film. I truly did have fun with the movie and I enjoyed my time with it, but I also want to be fair and give out criticism because I feel that the community forgets so easily that criticism is what made FNaF the way it is. I mean, think about it. Chipper and Sons was an utter failure and people criticized it for that, and Scott learned his lesson and FNaF is alive. And FNaF continued because people criticized it. FNaF didn't end because Springtrap's jump scare was mocked. I feel that it's important for me to explain how I feel with this film because Scott is probably looking around the fan base, seeing how the community feels about this movie, so I'm giving my honest opinion. As a hardcore FNaF fan who's been here for as long as the first entry, I'd have to give it an 8 out of 10. But in terms of being critical and putting my FNaF bias aside, I'd have to give the movie a 6 out of 10, which I feel is fair. You know, it's not garbage as people are saying, but I don't think it's like the best thing to come out of movie theaters ever type of good. I think that's all when it comes to this review, and I just want to say, I know I kind of said it in the intro, but please be civil. I don't hate anyone who likes this movie. I don't hate anyone who dislikes this movie. In the end, we all have opinions, whether it be the same opinion or a different opinion, and that's okay. In the end, we all want what's best for the FNaF franchise, and this is what I think about the FNaF 2 movie, the most recent, well, movie, obviously, unless you somehow thought this was a book, which, wow. If you somehow thought this was a book, I'd be quite surprised. But nonetheless, this has been DJ Aiden, and I'll catch y'all on the flip side. Bye-bye.